A very fresh and a very wonderful morning to one and all present there. How are you all? I hope you all are fit, fine, and healthy. Myself Janab Kagvi from Atmiya Green School, Jadeshwar, Bharuch. Okay, so today we'll discuss about our new lesson that is packing, written by Jerome K. Jerome. Before we begin with that, let us know what are the syllabus for your periodic test 3. Okay, as we have successfully completed our periodic test 2, the lessons which are going to come for your periodic test 3 are No Man Are Foreign, written by James Kirkup. Question lesson 2, lesson number 7, Packing, written by Jerome K. Jerome. And unit number 8, that is Reach for the Top, written by Santosh Yadav and Maria Sharapova. So these three topics are going to come in your periodic test 3. We have successfully completed No Man Are Foreign. So now we'll move up to unit number 7, that is Packing. Before we move on that, let us resolve, as it is a new year, so I wish you a very happy new year, and will resolve for this new year that we will speak in English and only in English, whether it is on phone call, talking with the relatives, or with the friends, or on video calls, we will speak only in English. So, moving on to our lesson number 7, that is packing. Uh, so, basically, it is an extract from Three Men in a Boat. So, as you can see in the picture, there are three people here. As it was a vacation time, you might have gone to anywhere. It was safe to stay at home, but if you have been on a vacation, you could see that it is very similar thing. As we do packing and we come across a tremendous pain that we forget few things and we find it a hard time to fit everything in a one container. So let us see how they faced this problem and how they solved their problem. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, these are three people. One is named Harris. Okay. The writer of this is Jerome K. Jerome. I'll introduce you the characters later. So it is a humorous story of these three people written by Jerome K. Jerome. I said I would pack. I rather pride myself on. Pride means I'm proud of something. Okay, this packing is also an art. Okay, a few people has this art and they pack it so nicely that if you take out everything from the bag and if you try to replace them, then it is very difficult for you. But they place it, they fold the clothes in such a way, they put the things in such a good manner that you will find you cannot do it by yourself. So these author, that is Jerome K. Jerome, was very proud of his this art, this skill that is was in him. I said I would pack. I rather pride myself on of my packing. Packing is one of those many things that I feel I know more about than any other person living. So, as Diwali was here, and you people might have done the rangoli, and I asked you to do it DIY divas, that is, do it yourself divas. You might have um made torrents out of your own creativity, and few people had wonderful drawing art in them. So these different skills make you feel that I know something more than other people, correct? So this author had few skills in him, and one of those skill was packing. He loved packing and he thought that he knew more about the packing than the other person living with him. So it surprises me myself sometimes how many such things there are that he knows more than other people. So he's just bragging about it. Let us see how his art and how he faced other people. I impressed the fact upon George and Harris. Okay, so there are three person. This is a story of three person. First is Jerome K. Jerome, who is dictating the whole story. The other two is George and Harris. These are two more people he's living with. And I impressed the fact upon George and Harris. So he told his friends that I know packing very nicely and I can do it better than you people, and told them that they had better leave the whole matter entirely to me. So he just bragged about it that I know packing more and I'll guide you, and you leave this packing thing on me. They fell into. They accepted the suggestion with a readiness that had something uncanny about it. Okay, so when you say that I'll do it for you, then what happens? That you just need to instruct. But the friends did something different. There was something uncanny. Uncanny means something strange and weird about it. They accepted this agreement. They accepted this fact that you know packing more, so we are leaving everything upon you. George spread himself over the easy chair and Harris cocked his legs. Cocked his legs means bend the legs on the knee as he said. As you can see, how he bent. So this is definitely Harris. Okay. Okay, the one person doing all the hard work is Jerome. Okay, and this person is George. These three people. What did George did? He spread over the easy chair. You can see this chair. He spread over the easy chair, and Harris cocked his legs. So this is, you can see in the picture. He cocked his legs, that is bent his legs on the knee as he sat on the table. So they just sat like they are the owner, and this Jerome, he felt like he is the slave. Let us move on the story. This was hardly what I intended, planned or meant. Intended means planned or meant. What I had meant, of course, was that I should boss the job and that Harris and George should potter about, do some unimportant things under my directions. I pushing them aside every now and then with, "Oh, you, here, let me do it." Okay, so what was his idea? What was his intentions regarding this packing stuff was he wanted to boss them. He wanted to instruct them that this is the way you need to do and this is the way, and under his directions, this George and Harris had to work. But completely different thing happened. Okay, what happened? They sat on the chair and they just observed him what he was doing, and they didn't help him in packing their stuff. Okay, so this is what. There you are, simple enough, really teaching them, as you might say. They're taking it in the way they did irritated me. There is nothing does irritate me more than seeing other people sitting about doing nothing when I am working. So okay, so what the thing that irritated him was his only idea that I will leave this entire packing stuff on me. This was his own idea, but he got irritated by his friends, by the people living with him when they accepted it. Why? Because the most irritating person they thought was the people who just keep on sitting at some place and just observe the people doing working. Okay, he just hate this, that one person is working and you just sitting and just watching them. I mean, you're not helping them. This the thing what irritated him a lot. So they're taking it in the way they did irritated me, that the way they took this job as a sitting and observing and then learning is just irritated him, that they are doing nothing while I am working, that this Jerome is working and they are just sitting and observing. This thing irritated him. I lived with a man once who used to make me mad that way. Okay, so you can see in the picture, this is Jerome. Okay, he worked, he cleaned everything, as you can see, he washed the dishes and he did all the things, while the other person just sat there with relaxed manner and watched him do all the stuff. So this irritated him. He in the past lived with such a person that did that way, and he made him mad. He would loll on the sofa. Loll means to recline or lean in a relaxed manner on a sofa and watch me doing things by the hour together. So he just watched, he didn't help any in any way. He said it did him real good to look on at me messing about. Messing about means to waste time doing something without a particular purpose. So, what did the person used to do? This person used to say that I love watching you mess about, that messing about. I like to watch you. I don't like to work with you, but I just like to watch you. The how you're doing things and how you're messing up things, how you're running here and there and doing all this stuff. This thing, he loved it. So he says that this was the excuse given by him, that he just loved to watch him, look at him, but not help him. This was what made him mad about the concept. Now I am not like that. I can't sit still, sit without doing anything, and see another man slaving and working. I want to get up and superintend, supervise or manage, and walk round with my hands in my pockets and tell him what to do. It is my energetic nature. I can't help it. And now he's showing the bossy attitude now. Now I'm not like that. I can't sit still and sit without doing anything. I can't sit like that and see another man slaving and working hard and just leaning on the sofa and just watching. I want to get up and superintend. I want to supervise and manage. I don't want to work, but I want to supervise you people and walk around with my hands in my pockets and tell him what to do like a leader does. It is my energetic nature. I can't help it. He says this. However, I did not say anything but started the packing. This was all the things going on in his mind, but he did not say anything to his mates, and he just started the packing. It seemed a longer job than I had thought it was going to be, but I got the bag finished at last, and I sat on it and strapped it. That means closed it. So he just started packing it, and it took a very much time because he thought that it will take this much time, but it took a lot longer time than finishing this job. And then at last, and I just sat on it and just strapped it. Okay. Aren't you going to put the books in? Said Harris. So after he did all the stuff, he packed all the stuff inside and he strapped it. That the Harris instructed that, are you not going to put the books in? And I looked around and found I had forgotten them. So he just thought about it, which books Harris is talking about, and just he looked here and there, and then he found books and he forgot them to put inside. That's just like Harris. Okay, Harris used to forget things outside, and after packing it, he used to look on it that what are the things he forgot. He couldn't have said a word until I had got the bag shut and strapped, of course. And George laughed, one of those irritating, senseless laughs at office. They do make me so wild, mad with anger. So what did Harris did? He instructed him. He just said, he didn't say anything until he was packing, and after he finished packing and he put everything inside it, after he informed him that you forgot these books. If he was just sitting like that and observing him, he would have said it earlier before he zipped the bag. But after he completed all his work, Harris informed him to he had forgotten these books. So he just got mad on this, and on it George laughed a lot. That irritated him, and that made him mad with anger. That why is he laughing this way? He's not helping, and since I'm doing all the work, and on the contrary to it, instead of appreciating it, they are laughing on the silly mistake I have done. I opened the bag and packed the boots in, and then, just as I was going to close it, a horrible idea occurred to me. Had I packed my toothbrush? I don't know how it is, but I never do know whether I've packed my toothbrush. So after he completed, he opened the bag and packed the boots in, and everything was done. And then a horrible idea occurred to him that, "Now, what about my toothbrush? Had I kept the toothbrush in? Had I kept the packed my toothbrush in? I don't know how it is," and he was just confused. Okay, it was a morning time, and then he needed to close that stuff. So he wanted the toothbrush into the next morning to brush in, so he had to take it out again. So we'll continue the story in our next video. So I would request you to read the story further. It is a wonderful and a comic story. It is a humorous story of these three friends, that is Harris, George and Jerome K. Jerome. So what you need to do till now is you need to read the stuff we have already read today, these 4-5 paragraphs, reread it, and then read further story if you are much interested in it, and write down all the hard words in your notebook with beautiful handwriting. We will continue the story in our next video. Till that, complete this activity, and then we'll move on to our further story, and then we'll undertake our exercise. So I'll give you one short video of what we have learned today. So I hope you will watch it carefully.
Here is the summary of the story Packing by Jerome K. Jerome. Jerome, the narrator, was proud of his ability to pack anything. So he told his friends George and Harris to leave the packing up to him. To his surprise, they readily agreed to his suggestion. This was not what Jerome intended. His idea was to instruct George and Harris to do the work while he supervised them. He disliked it when people sat idly and did nothing while he did all the work. Jerome was irritated, but he decided to start packing. It took him longer than anticipated, but he finally managed to pack everything. However, just when he was closing the last bag, Harris asked him if he had packed in the boots. Jerome was annoyed. He thought it was just like Harris to remind him of the boots when he was almost finished with packing. Of course, he had to open the bag and pack the boots inside it. It was then that he remembered his toothbrush. His toothbrush gave him trouble every time he traveled somewhere. He would pack it the night before and unpack it in the morning to use it. Then he would forget to repack it and would have to rush at the last moment to get his toothbrush and run to the station. He unpacked his bag again, but he could not find the toothbrush. He had to reopen everything again to find it. Finally, he found it inside a boot. Poor Jerome had to repack everything once again. By this time, Jerome was exhausted. He gave in to Harris's suggestion to let him and George do the packing. George and Harris took over from Jerome. But Jerome did not think they would do any better than him. He believed that George and Harris were the worst packers in the entire world. Jerome was right. Almost immediately, they broke a cup.